Channel Clinical Biochemistry by Dr. P.K. Prabhakar. Today we are going to talk about fructose metabolism and the inborn error associated with the fructose metabolism process. So first we will see what is fructose. So fructose is a ketohexose. It is 6-carbon sugar which is having a ketone functional group. So it is called as ketohexose and it is a monosaccharides. So if you see the structure, this is the fructose sugar which is having both D structure and D fructose and L fructose. So this is the ketonic group, and on the basis of this fifth carbon we are deciding it is D fructose or L fructose. If you see this structure, this is here we are having Fischer projections, which is a open chain structures of fructose. So here OH group is on the right hand side, so it is a DS structures, and this is the ring form of fructose. So it is called as Haworth projections. The major source of fructose is fructose present in the fruits, so it is also called as fruit sugar. It is also present in the juices, fruit juices. It is present in honey. Roughly 40% fructose will be there in honey. Corn syrups and the components of sucrose. Sucrose is composed of two monosaccharides, like that is glucose. So here it is glucose, and this is fructose. So these two combine together with the glycosidic bond associated with the glycosidic bonds and gives us sucrose. So whenever this sucrose is going to be metabolized, we are going to get glucose as well as fructose, and it is the fructose is the monomer of inulin. Inulin is a homopolysaccharides normally present in the plants. So it is a plant polysaccharides, homopolysaccharide, which is composed of only fructose. So you can see this is one fructogenetic component. This is another fructose monomer. This is third fructose. So it is composed of only fructose to fructose. So this is a homopolysaccharide of fructose. The inulin is having one of the very important significance in the diagnostic biochemistry. So this inulin is going to be utilized for the clearance test. So whenever we are going to do a kidney clearance test, renal function test, there we are going to use this inulin. This inulin normally it is not metabolized by our body, nor we are going to synthesize it, and it will be 100% excreted. Whatever we are going to give into the body, injected into the body, patient body, it will be excreted. So that is the significance of this inulin. Remember, this inulin is a polysaccharides composed of fructose, and if I will use here S, so if I will write insulin, so that is a protein which is a hormone in our body. Now, unlike glucose, fructose is almost entirely metabolized in the liver. We are having fructose is going to be metabolized some other tissue also, but maximum almost 100% fructose metabolic process occurs in liver only. Whereas if you see glucose metabolic process, so glucose is required for almost all the cells of our body. So every cells, either cells is having mitochondria or not have mitochondria, but glucose metabolic process is going to occurs. Like RBC, so they don't have mitochondria, but they are doing glycolysis. So every cells of our body requires glucose for normal energy productions. This fructose is going to be converted into different metabolites, like roughly 1% of the fructose which we use it, which we eat, that will be converted into triglyceride. We will show you how this triglyceride synthetic pathway occurs from the glucose, from the fructose. Roughly 29 to 54% fructose will be converted to glucose through different pathway. I will show you that one also. 25% fructose is converted to lactic acid, lactate. Roughly 15 to 18% fructose is converted into glycogen. So the metabolic pathway, if you'll see it, glucose metabolic pathway normally gives us pyruvic acid, and pyruvic acid converted to acetyl coenzyme, and then it will go to Krebs cycle and other pathway, amino acid synthesis, fatty acid synthesis. But here, fructose metabolic process gives us different other types of biomolecules like glycogen, lactic acid, glucose, or triglycerides. Now, fructose is, I have already told you, fructose is a dietary monosaccharides which normally eats through candy, through juice, through fruits, through different other components. So that is the source of fructose in our body. Now, how this fructose, whenever we eat any foods, how this fructose enters into our cells. So first, we eat, either we will eat fructose, only fructose alone, in the form of monosaccharides, or we are going to eat sucrose, or we will eat some other component. So whenever we are going to eat sucrose, this sucrose is going to be metabolized in our intestine by the enzyme sucrase into glucose and fructose, because sucrose is composed of glucose and fructose. So from the sucrose we have got fructose. Fructose also we can get some other sources, like it may be from inulin, it may be from honey, it may be some fruit juice, it may be some other component. So we have got fructose. Now this is the intestinal cells we are having. So this is luminal side and this is the apical side. Now this glucose enters into the luminal cells through a glucose transporter that is called as SGLT, sodium glucose co-transporter, that is SGLT1. So this glucose which enters into the luminal cells through SGLT1, it exits the cells and reaches to the blood circulation with the help of GLUT2, which is an insulin independent glucose transporter. So that is for glucose. So glucose enters into the luminal cell with the help of SGLT1 and exit the cells, lumen cells, that is from GLUT2. Similarly, fructose enters into the luminal cell with the help of another glucose transporter, that is GLUT5, and it exits the glucose luminal cells with the help of same GLUT2. Means both glucose and fructose enters into the luminal cell with the different kind of transporters. Here glucose with the SGLT1 and fructose with the help of GLUT5, whereas both exit from the luminal cell with the help of same glucose transporter, that is insulin independent transporter, that is GLUT2. Now this glucose and fructose both enters into the liver cells, hepatocytes, through the same transporter, that is GLUT2, glucose transporter. So glucose transporters is one of the important transporter which helps in the entry of fructose also into the different places. Now this fructose metabolic processes mainly occurs in the liver, but it also occurs in testis, it also occurs in kidney, it also occurs in skeletal muscles, fat tissue, means adipocytes, and brain cells. So these are the different other places where fructose metabolic process takes place. This glucose transporter 2, GLUT2, is having some key features. What are the key features? First key feature is it does not require any kind of insulin for its opening or for glucose transporter. So it is insulin independent glucose transporter. It does not require any glucose, sorry, in any insulin. Second is one is it is having very high Km value. High Km means it is having low affinity. So that's why same glucose transporter can transport fructose also. And this GLUT2 is going to be expressed in three important tissue in our body, that is hepatocytes, liver cells, pancreatic cells, and the intestinal cells, it means GIT tract. Now, how this fructose is going to be metabolized. So if you will see the fructose metabolic process, so which is slightly different from the normal process. So how this is going to be metabolized? So first we are going to eat some kind of sources where fructose will be there. So from those dietary source we are going to get fructose. This fructose, as soon as it reaches into the liver, just now we have seen how it is going to reach to the liver. So this fructose now reached to the liver. So in the liver's hepatocytes, fructose is converted into fructose 1 phosphate with the help of fructokinase, and there it requires 1 ATP like glucokinase. This fructose 1 phosphate, which is the product of fructokinase, is going to be digested into two different metabolites. 3 carbon dihydroxyacetone phosphate, this is 3 carbon, and similarly 3 carbon glyceraldehyde. Because it is having only one phosphate and that phosphate comes here, so here we are not going to get glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. That is different from the glycolysis. I will compare it also. Now this dihydroxyacetone 3 acetone phosphate is going to be converted to glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate with the help of triose phosphate isomerase, similar to glycolysis. So this reaction is very similar to glycolysis. This glyceraldehyde, which is the another product of fructose 1 phosphate, can also gives us glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate by the enzyme that is called as triose kinase. So ultimately we have got glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. This glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate is normally metabolized by normal way, that is called as pyruvate kinase or some other enzymes catalyze reaction, and ultimately we are going to get pyruvic acid. So this is the normal metabolic process of fructose. Now, if in this case, this fructokinase, which is present only in the liver, so this metabolic process occurs only in the liver. That's why I have told you roughly 100% fructose metabolic process occurs in liver only because of this enzyme. Second important feature of this one is this fructokinase expression is it requires a kind of transcription factor. The name of the transcription factor which is needed here is carbohydrate response element binding protein, ChREBP. So that is the transcription factor which is going to help in the expression of this fructokinase. And there are some research papers, some literature which also shows that this transcription factor is under the control of uric acid. Means uric acid regulates ChREBP and ChREBP regulates fructokinase. So this is the normal metabolic process of fructose in our body. Now, how fructolysis, that is fructose degradation, whatever dietary fructose we are going to eat, how it will, whatever metabolic process fructose we are having, that is called as fructolysis, means lysis of dietary fructose. So how fructolysis is different from glycolysis? So first we have seen this is the normal fructose metabolic process through fructokinase, allolase B. This is different allolase which normally we are using in glycolysis, that is allolase A or B. Here we are going to use only B, that is also called as fructose 1-phosphate allolase. So through fructokinase, allolase B, triose phosphate isomerase, triose kinase, and ultimately it gives me pyruvic acid. This is fructose metabolic process. So here we don't have any regulatory steps, means very less regulatory steps we are having. So whereas in case of glycolysis, if we'll see, this is the normal glycolytic pathway where glucose, sorry, this will be not fructokinase, this will be glucokinase. So glucose is going to be converted to glucose 6-phosphate by the glucokinase or hexokinase. Glucose 6-phosphate is converted into fructose 6-phosphate with the help of phosphoglucomutase, and then fructose 6-phosphate will be converted to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate by phosphofructokinase. So here we require one ATP, and at this place we require another ATP. So 2 ATP is going to be consumed here. Now this fructose 1,6-bisphosphate is going to be digested here by allolase, but that may be allolase A or it may be allolase B also. So both and any of the enzymes we can use here. Now this dihydroxyacetone phosphate will be converted to glyceride 3-phosphate by triose phosphate isomerase, and then this will be normal metabolite to pyruvic acid. Now, in this case of glycolysis, if you will see, one of the most important enzyme, one of the most regulatory step you can call it, rate limiting step you can call it, committed step you can call it, that is PFK1, phosphofructokinase 1. This phosphofructokinase is a very, very regulatory step. So this is under the regulations of fructose 2,6-bisphosphate, and AMP normally increases the expression of PFK. So whenever we are having phosphofructokinase, fructose 2,6-bisphosphate, and AMP means insulin energy deficient conditions, or ADP also you can call it. So they increases the expression of PFK1. Whereas ATP, that is energy sufficient conditions, citric acid or protons normally going to decrease the expression of PFK1. Means what I want to say it here is this PFK enzyme is very, very regulated steps, controlled step. Means whole glycolysis is a regulated step. So normally it is occurs, glycolysis takes place in the regulated fashions, whereas fructose metabolic process, fructolysis, is unregulated steps. Now, how this regulated step and unregulated step is going to affect us? So if we are having fructose and glucose, so which is going to leads to the insulin resistance more? So that we will see in the next pathway. So this is the normal fructose metabolic process. We have already seen it. In this case, the pyruvic acid which we have got it, that is going to be converted to acetyl coenzyme A through normal PDH reaction, that is pyruvate dehydrogenase reactions. This acetyl coenzyme A is ultimately gives us fatty acids through fatty acid synthase enzymes. that is multi-enzyme complex. So we have got fatty acid here. Now, in other way, we have glyceraldehyde. This glyceraldehyde can be converted to glycerol by an enzyme that is called as glycerol dehydrogenase. And this glycerol can be phosphorylated to glycerol 3-phosphate by glycerol kinase. Means glyceraldehyde can give you glycerol 3-phosphate, and through this dihydroxyacetone phosphate we have got fatty acids. Now, this glycerol 3-phosphate can also be converted through from the dihydroxyacetone phosphate by a enzyme that is called as glycerol 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Means we have two different sources of glycerol 3-phosphate. One from the glyceraldehyde, another from the dihydroxyacetone phosphate. So we have got glycerol 3-phosphate from this pathway, and we have got fatty acids. These two, glycerol 3-phosphate and fatty acids, ultimately esterified and gives us triglyceride. Now, in the previous picture we have seen it. This fructose metabolic process is normally unregulated, not very regulated steps, regulatory biochemical pathway. Means if we are having more fructose, we can produce more triglyceride. So triglyceride level will be very high. So compared to glycolysis, in the case of glycolysis, glycolysis is regulated step, so they will not give you that much triglyceride, whereas fructose gives you more triglyceride. So it means fructose are more commonly going to leads to insulin resistance. So whenever more triglyceride, more lipid will be in the blood circulation in the body, so it may leads to more different type of abnormal conditions, that is called as insulin resistance, ultimately diabetes and other things. Now we are coming to the metabolic disorders. We are going to talk about IEM, inborn error of metabolic disorder of fructose metabolism. So in this case, two enzymes are very important. One is fructokinase, second one is allolase B. So if we are having any kind of genetic defect in fructokinase, it may lead to asymptomatic fructosuria or fructosemia. If fructose is going to occur in the high level of fructose in the blood circulations, that is called as fructosemia. And if those fructose is coming into the in the urine, it is called as fructosuria. And whereas if we are having any kind of abnormality, any kind of genetic defect in the aldolase B, it may lead to hereditary fructose intolerance. Now, so this is the same pathway. Fructose converted to fructose 1-phosphate and it will be divided. So here we require aldolase and here we require fructokinase. So this is one disorder and this is another disorder. This is fructosuria, fructosemia, and this is uh, hereditary fructose intolerance. Now, one by one we are going to see it. So first one is asymptomatic fructosuria or fructosemia. In this case, as we are having a defect of fructokinase enzyme, so which results in the first step, that is fructose will not be phosphorylated. Means fructose will be in the form of fructose only. So no phosphorylations. And unphosphorylated fructose is not trapped. So if this unphosphorylated fructose, which is having normal fructose only, so it can exit the cells. It can come out of the cells. So free fructose concentration in the liver increases and fructose is free to leave the cells and enter into the blood circulations. So ultimately, blood circulations or blood plasma of fructose level will rises, and this will affect the kidney threshold value, and ultimately fructose will appear in the urine. In this case, this is asymptomatic. It is not going to have any kind of symptoms. So this is not very serious conditions. Only thing is, this is the uh, drawback. This is major drawback, that is called as hereditary fructose intolerance. In this case, we are having defects in the genes for fructose 1,phosphate aldolase, that is called as aldolase B. So this enzyme we don't have. So it means we are having a accumulations of a fructose 1-phosphate, that is the substrate for this aldolase B. As soon as we are having accumulation of fructose 1-phosphate in the hepatocytes, kidney or small intestines, this fructose 1-phosphate is going to inhibit two important processes. One is glycogen degradation. So no glycogen degradation will be there, means no glycogen to glucose conversion will be there. So no glucose synthesis means normally glycogen is going to be converted into glucose through glycogen degradations. This process will be inhibited by this fructose 1-phosphate. So no glucose synthesis through this glycogens, and second one is glucose neogenesis process will be inhibited, means here also glucose will not be produced from the new sources. So ultimately body will not have new glucose synthesis or the glycogen to glucose synthesis. So ultimately it will leads to hypoglycemia. So you may someone may ask you how this fructose 1-phosphate deficiency or hereditary fructose intolerance leads to hypoglycemia. This is the reason. In this case, aldolase B deficiency will be there. This deficiency will increase the fructose 1-phosphate, which normally inhibit these two processes, and ultimately glucose synthesis will not take place. The major sign and symptom of this hereditary fructose intolerance is severe hypoglycemia, abdominal pain, vomiting, hemorrhage, jaundice, and because this all the process occurs in liver, so and there we will have accumulation of fructose 1-phosphate, so hepatomegaly may ultimately results, and hyperuricemia. This may ultimately affect into the liver, and kidney failure may leads. The prevalent rate of this one is roughly 1 per 20,000 to 58,000 it can go. So this is the two major disorder of fructose. So lastly, we are going to see how we can treat it, because it is a genetic defect. So ultimately, we don't have any kind of treatments. This is autosomal recessive disorders. So just only we can avoid those foods which contains high amount of fructose, and we should prefer those food which contains less amount of fructose. So these are the some of the foods which contains high fructose content. So we should avoid such type of food in case of fructose intolerance, like apple, watermelon, pears, asparagus, sugar snap peas, rum, honey, and agave. These two things to be avoided because these contains high amount of fructose. Similarly, these are the food which contains low amount of fructose, like blueberries, banana, orange, carrot, lettuce, eggplant, maple syrup, and peanut butter. So these things can be taken. So these things are better, and these things should be avoided. So this is all about fructose metabolism and fructose disorder, means involved of disease metabolic process in the fructose metabolism. So hope you have understand it. If you have any query, any comments, you can write in the comment box. If you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe it. So thank you very much. Have a nice day.